Hello, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Cold. Looks like you're cold.
I am cold. One quick second. Okay, how are you?
Wonderful, Baruch Hashem. How was your day?
Good. Everything's good.
Good. Do you have children at home?
I have one left at home right now.
Okay. A girl, boy?
A girl
How old is she?
in high school, 14. She's a freshman in high school.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Any of the grandkids living with you or any of the kids?
Yeah, they come sometimes, come over,
Yeah,
They're always welcome when they feel comfortable here. They're always welcome.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, we always like plenty of room for them. They can have any rooms they want and, no strings attached.
Nice.
How about you're married kids, right?
Yeah, I do.
Where they live?
I've got one here in the neighborhood. And that's the only one that I have married. Then I have a son in Pico. And then I have two in Israel and one here.
Oh boy, beautiful.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, Mario.
Hi, Mario. Yeah. What do they do? What do they do in Israel?
They learn.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Where are they learning now, Kenny?
My daughter is at Machon Raya and my son is at Nativ Aryeh.
Okay, I know Nativ Aryeh. I have two son-in-laws who went to Nativ Aryeh with
Bina.
Rav Bina, right? Josh Orenbuch and Asher Hoffman.
Nice.
That's terrific.
I just had a meeting. I just had a meeting with Rav Bina when I was in Israel 2 weeks ago. Very nice. Very impressive.
I knew Rav Bina's father.
Oh, really? From the Hakotel?
No, he was the founder of Nativ Meir. The Nativ Meir was the high school that anybody went to. It was a boys' high school.
Yeah.
It was by far the top high school in the country.
Wow.
Carmel went there. The Tolner Rebbe went to the Tivarya. Everybody went. I had friends, Joe Rosenblatt and Lenny Kaplan from LA were sent in it. So the reason he called it Nativ Aryeh, because Rav Aryeh Bina, his father had founded Nativ Meir. That's why it's called Nativ Aryeh.
Nice. Interesting.
Yeah, it's basically a break off from Yeshivat HaKotel. You're right, and so Rabbi Bina was in Los Angeles, and Yossi Rosenblatt, who was a good friend of mine, and he had gone there. We took him around to visit, to take him around when he wanted to visit people. He was fundraising for the yeshiva. So I met Rav Aryeh. You're talking about 40 years ago.
Wow.
Maybe in the late 70s.
Anyway, Akiva's there almost 3 years now.
Beautiful.
So he likes it.
It's
Learning
wonderful.
well. Thank God.
Wonderful. And I don't know Machon Raya. Raya refers to Rav Kook, right?
No, I don't know. I think it's a woman whose name was Raya.
Oh, Raya, because Rav.
But we stayed at Rehov Rav Kook, and I davened in the building where he had his apartment. That kind of building that people make paintings over that building. There's a little yeshiva there called Kinyan Das. It was really cute and sweet and great place to daven.
Uh-huh. Okay, very good.
Good. Have success. Yeah.
Okay, Membeis. Amudar Anor Mechavero. So somebody takes a netter that his friend should not have Anor from him. Lifnei Shvius. It was not in a Shemitah year. Any Yored L'Stoch Sadeyu. So the Mudar Anor cannot go into the guy's field. Ve'eno ochel min hanotos. The trees that are pointing to the outside, he's not allowed to eat from those either. Even if he doesn't go into the field, right? You have some apple trees on the border, and he can pick some apples from the outside. He can't do that anyway because he's mutter hanoah. Now,
But who's it belong to, by the way? In general halacha, the branches stand out into my property, let's say, or out of your property.
well, if it extends in Rishus Harabim,
Yeah,
so technically people in Rishus Harabim can take from it.
so this seems to apply mutter hanoah too.
So if we're talking about a mutter hanoah that's not in Rishus Harabim, where you would be also to benefit from his tree, because it's not hefker.
What is it?
The mutter hanoah, if it belongs to the guy, the madir, the mutter hanoah can't benefit from it. That's why he can't take from the fruit that's sticking on the outside.
But who does it belong to? If it's out of his rishus, who does it belong to? The branches.
If you don't have to go inside the guy's field, you can. Another person would be able to take it. He can't because he's a mutter hanoah.
Okay.
However, shvius, when all fruit of a tree become hefker to everybody, so he's still ain't a yard l'soch sadeh. He can't go into the guy's field. Aval oichelu min hanetiyos anoitos l'chutz, but he can eat from the fruits that are hanging towards the asta. Because during Shemitah, those fruits don't belong to anybody. So he's allowed to eat from it. Now, another emenu Michael of Neshvias, if he didn't ask for all hanoah, but there's food hanoah, Yored l'toch sadeyu, he can go into the guy's field, but eino oichel min haperos, he can have hanoah, let's say, sitting under the shade of a tree in the guy's field. He can't eat from the fruit because the nether involves food. Now, Bashvi is when it doesn't belong to him, Yored v'gam oichel. He can go into the field and eat from the fruits as well. So Rav Shmuel Damar Tavayu, that depends what language was used. If it said nechosim elu are aser b'hanoah on you, he didn't say mine. He said these assets. Then ein yor l'soch sadeyu. Then he cannot go into the guy's field. Because since there was an Isser that started before Shemitah, that Isser, based on the fact that he said, these nechosim are usher to you, that doesn't go away when Shemitah hits. Now, if b'shvius nadar, if he made that neder during shvius, then ein yor l'soch sadeyu. He still can't go into his field of noitos. Because when he made the neder, the payros were not his, belonged to everybody. Now, that's how Rav and Shmuel learned. Rav Yochanan Reish Lakish Damar Tavayu, that if the guy said nechosai is alecha, are prohibited on you, my assets, then lifnei shvius, if he made the neder before Shemitah, ein yor l'soch sadeyu, then before Shemitah you can't go into his field because they're his. He gives shvius, ein yor l'soch sadeyu. He can go into the field, aval oichelu anoitos, but he can eat from the fruits that are sticking outside because they're hefker. They don't belong to him. It's not nechosai. So what's this machlokes between the way Rav and Shmuel learn and the way Rav Yochanan Reish Lakish learn? Do they have a machlokes, or maybe there is no machlokes? The halach is different depending on what language. So the Gemara first attempts to create a machlokes. Lema b'ha kamiflagi. Maybe they argue in a certain fundamental halacha that Rav and Shmuel Savri Adam Oyser Davar Shebersuso Afilu Shchayetze Mishuso. Rav and Shmuel say that I can certainly prohibit something that belongs to me. Even now, when Shemitah comes and these assets don't belong to him, the Issur remains. Rav Yochanan Reish Lakish Savi, no. I can understand that the person can prohibit something that belongs to him when it belongs to him, but it doesn't extend to when it doesn't belong to him anymore. Freit the Gemara, the Tizbara, is this really how you can learn? Is there anybody who holds that a person cannot answer something once it leaves his rishus when he answered it when it was in his rishus? Im kain niflagi b'nechasim elu. The machlokes should have been even when they didn't say nechasim alai, my nechasim. These nechasim, the kosher came b'nechasai. So that's kasha number one. The two, and another problem. Hatnan, we have a beferish mishnah the other moiser davar sheb'rishus al chayeshem that when a person answered something when it belonged to him, it remains usher even when it doesn't belong to him. This nan. He tells his son, I don't want you to have enough for me. And then Mace, if the father dies, Yirashenu. It doesn't, the fact that while he was alive, he made a ned there, doesn't mean that when the father dies, he's not being nened directly from the father anymore. He's dead. And there's no kinyan in his assets. However, if the father in the neder had used the language b'chayav uvemoso, I'm answering hanof from you both while I'm alive and after my death, then imeis lo yirashem, then the son does not inherit. So you see from here, since when he made the neder, he owned the assets, he can continue to prohibit it even when it's not out of his, when it's out of his rishus. You don't have a rishus, you don't have a kinyan in some when you're not alive. So shiny hacha the ka'omer le b'chayv v'moisai. But we don't know yet in a regular case when we just aser nechosim through a neder whether that prohibition remains after it leaves his rishus. So we still have the first kasha, mikomakom kasha that they could have argued by nechosim elu. So the Gemara changes because of that kasha and says, Ella, when he says these assets are usher to you, there's no argument. And they remain usher even when he doesn't own them anymore, because he didn't qualify the neder and say, these, my assets are usher to you. He said these assets. So these assets remain prohibited forever. Ki pligi, the machlokes between Rav and Shmuel and Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish is when he said nechasai. Rav and Shmuel serve loishna nechasam elu, loishna nechasai. Adam oiser, a man can answer something that even though it leaves his rishus. And Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish serve no nechasam elu. Yes, Adam oiser can answer forever, but nechasai ain't Adam oiser forever. So the Gemara again wants to know that it makes no difference what language he uses, and he can answer even when it leaves his reshus fatnan. I'll show you another Mishnah. So imeis balabayis or shemach la'acher muter. The neder doesn't survive his death, or if he sells it to somebody else. When he answered having anof from his house, when it was his house or his field. Now, if he said koinim labayis zesh ani sod zesh ani lokeh, then imeis or shemach la'acher aser remains. So there is a difference whether he answered his own asset, or he said these assets. So, Ella, Kiami Rav Yochavesh Lakish. When does Rav Yochavesh Lakish say that a person can't prohibit something that leaves his reshus? When he says Nechosai. And Rav Shmuel says that you aser only when he says Nechosim Elu. And really, they're not arguing halachu. They're arguing the two different cases. They're describing two different languages. Halacha lo pli. Uvashvius.
What's the halacha regarding that? What do we paskin? Can a person ask something after his die?
It says
Or
in the
after his
Rambam.
soul?
It says in the Rambam. A person asers benefiting from the assets of your friend, or you asered your friend from having hanof from your asset. So aser lo lehonis behem. Aval b'shnasa shviyas oichel meperos sodizeh. During Shemitah you can eat sheneser banoso. Shari aser senechosim hashayachin lo. Because he only prohibited assets that belong to him. During Shemitah it's hefker. So he can eat the fruits during Shemitah. You can't go into his field. Now, if he said nechosim elu, then it's also forever.
That's what we paskin that way, yeah.
Yeah.
So now, but the difference by Yerusha, for example, the Torah tells you that the order of Yerusha. So maybe the father is saying, "I'm asking you this." Maybe by the time maybe the Torah, the fact that the Torah tells you what the line of order of Yerusha, it negates what the father said. Even if he said Zu, maybe you can say that because of it varies in the Torah the degree of the steps in Yerusha, where everything else is not. It's secondary. It's not a Torah dika thing. Yerusha is a direct inheritance from the father, as the Torah tells you.
But the father. The halacha in the Shulchan Aruch and the Rambam said that if the father said that you also to have enough from me, b'chayev v'moso, then he doesn't inherit him. So the father can disinherit his son.
Yeah.
And if from a technical point of view, what they're saying is you can make a prohibition on your assets, even when the assets leave your rishus. Like that's what we've been dealing with tonight. When a person dies, he doesn't have a kinyan in the assets. But since he prohibited it in his lifetime, it extends beyond. Yes, Maya.
What is the difference between these possessions and my possessions?
Because when the difference, because if you say my possessions, then when a state exists that they're not his possessions anymore, the prohibition goes away.
And what are those these
Shemitah,
possessions?
like during Shemitah, where the fruits are hefker, don't belong to anybody, don't belong to him anymore. So when you say these fruits are prohibited, they remain prohibited no matter what.
Oh,
Because it's not totally in his ownership. It's basically like he's saying, while I own these, it's prohibited. So then when he doesn't own them anymore, they're not prohibited. When you use that.
Thank you.
I think it was a very illuminating Gemara today. This is a interesting focus between these Amorim. Okay. Uvashvi senor the Sochsadei. We said that he cannot, if he said Nechosim alai, he can't go into the field, but he can eat the fruits. Now, why can he eat the fruits? Because they're hefker. Aranami hefker. Well, during Shemitah, anybody can come into somebody's land. The land is hefker as well. And everyone can come into anybody's property during Shemitah and eat fruit. So, Omer Ula ba'oindim ilonas al gvulim. We're talking about these are trees that are on the border between the field and the next, and the road. So you can eat from these fruits without going into the field. So they didn't necessarily matter you to go into the field. But Rav Shmuel Yochanan Gzeira Shem Yisha B'Amida. Not for that. They're not talking about trees that are on the border, even trees within the field. And really, Mikra, then you could go into the field. With a Gzeira, you'll stay there too long. Beyond the Tzorach Achila. And that would not be permitted even during Shemitah. Okay, we're gonna learn this Mishnah tomorrow.
Koyach, Ernie.
I don't know whether there's a Tzvika's Shir tomorrow, but
Looks like
we'll learn at 7:30 like we've been doing on
Okay.
Thursday nights. Okay?
Koyach.
All right.
Shkoyach.